Hello, good evening, folks. How are you doing today? Hope you've had an interesting week. Now, we know most of our viewers are from Nigeria, and we know that quite a lot has happened in Nigeria in the past week, especially with the Twitter ban and all the drama around it and all of that. It just goes to show you that when you're Nigerian or you live in Nigeria, there's never a dull moment. There's always something to talk about. There's always something, to catch your attention. Plenty of drama. A lot of people have their own opinion on whether the president or the presidency should have banned Twitter. A lot of people also have their opinion on Twitter itself and what has been allowed by social media platforms all over the world. In some cases, it's a case of there just seems to be a little bit of bias in the way they actually handle issues, especially when it concerns, African countries. They don't reckon with African countries, but African countries actually generate quite a lot of revenue. Nigeria has 40 million people on Twitter, and those 40 million people generate about $11 billion for Twitter. Yet, Twitter said they do not know who the Nigerian president is or which country he's governing or whatever. So, that just goes to show you that that's a bit unfair. But the Nigerian government probably should not have banned Twitter, even if they did get that type of reaction from Twitter. Anyways, a lot of people started looking at it and started talking about Plan B. Well, tonight we're here to talk about Plan B as well. Quite a lot of people actually want foreign education and they want to relocate. In a lot of cases, it's the education. But for the education, because of the volatility of the currency, especially the Nigerian naira, what people could afford 3 years ago, they probably can afford right now. Some of them want to go to school abroad, but they usually think of going to countries like the United States, the United Kingdom, Canada, those kind of places. And the average cost of tuition, I think probably the UK has the lowest, which is about £14,000 when you want to go for a university degree, and that's tuition for just 1 year. But when it comes to Tunisia, a country that we discovered very recently, it's so affordable, it's unbelievable. And then the cost of living there is also quite affordable. And then they have a very large literacy rate. It's about 79% thereabouts. Tonight, we're going to be talking to a professor from one of the private universities in Tunisia, in a city called Sfax. It's a port city. Loads of fishing going on there. Of course, anywhere you hear fishing or there's a port, so that tells you that there's quite a lot of money there. So they're actually very, very business oriented as well. This private university in Tunisia is also quite highly rated. It is actually one of the highest rated universities in Tunisia. So we're actually going to be speaking to Professor Maher Siala. But in the meantime, before we bring Professor Siala on to the screen, we'll just take a quick commercial break and we'll be back very shortly. Hello, Professor. How are you today?
Fine. Hi, Mr. Habib.
It's great to have you on. It's always exciting to get to talk to, the academia anywhere in the world. And of course, in Tunisia, it's always amazing to speak to the academia there because a lot of people, most of our viewers are from Nigeria, in the west coast of Africa, and very few of them know about Tunisia. But first, I will introduce you. We're talking to Professor Maher Siala. Am I pronouncing your name correctly, Professor?
Yes.
Okay.
Wonderful. Yeah.
So, in a lot of cases, people do not realize that Arabic is not a religious language. It is actually a language. So when I say Alhamdulillah, which means thank God, Also, we will say shukran, which is thank you. So I'd like to say thank you, Professor, for taking out the time to join us tonight and having a discussion about studying in Tunisia, which is studying Tunisia experience. So, Professor, you're a professor of what? What school are you? Can you just tell the viewers a little bit about yourself?
All right. Now, I've been teaching since 1986, so it has been a long period.
Okay.
I started teaching English in a secondary school in Sidi Bouzid. It is just in the south of the country. And then bit by bit, I started really looking for a job in my hometown, Sfax. And then I tried to get involved with teaching young learners. So I paid much attention to teaching young learners, knowing that in order to know how people, react, you have to know them since an early age. So you know how, progress in learning happens. And then later on, I am really now teaching at university. All right, I'm
Yeah.
teaching. I'm teaching in a public university here. All right.
Okay.
A state university, and at the same time, I'm training teachers, secondary school teachers in my hometown. And then I'm teaching business English in ESEAC Sfax, okay, which is a private business school. All right. I've been there for about 11 years now. So you can call me there like a freelancer, because I'm teaching there the third year and the master's students, and I feel happy there, certainly, as I feel happy in the public university too. All right.
Okay. Now, ESAC is in the port city of Sfax. Like I said earlier on, a lot of, probably the viewers tonight have very little knowledge of Tunisia in itself. Now, what is Sfax like? What is the cost of living in Sfax? What is the quality of life in Sfax? Is it as nice as Tunis? What exactly is the experience in Sfax?
All right. Now, first, Sfax is 260 kilometers far away from the capital, from Tunis.
Oh.
It takes you about 3 hours and a half, okay, by train to be there. And if someone has got a car, a private car, a new private car,
not any of the old one.
Now he can be there in 2 hours or 2 hours 20 minutes. Okay, what is special about Sfax is that from early ages, people were most of the time interested in education. Now everybody knows this. The families spend much money, about 40% of their family budget, on education. It seems strange, but this is true. And people, as a result, are really there, very tolerant, very laborious. They admire hard work a lot. All right. They believe in family relationships. Of course, this has made of Sfax a nice place to live in. And now many people from other places like Sousse or Gebes or Sidi Bouzid are just opting for the choice of living there because, merchandise or goods there are cheaper compared to all over the country. All right.
Oh, thank you.
Uh, yes, I mean, if you compare prices in Sfax and just in Sousse or Gebes or Tunis, I mean, the difference is very clear. And many people who live in Tunis, the capital, or Sousse, come, I mean, from time to time to Sfax in order to buy their needs, okay, what they
Yeah,
need. Uh, Now, another thing that I have to insist on is that the people there don't really like that they, I mean, lose the client. For them, the client is number one. So if he comes once, they are happy that they are lucky enough if he comes twice and three times and four times. So sometimes some, I mean, say, let's say merchants or shopkeepers opt for a discount without the customer asks them for a discount. Do you understand? So
yeah,
that they are sure that the customers come back. And
they are
this is,
they are very business oriented.
yes, surely.
That's nice. That's interesting. That's
All right.
really, really, really interesting. So
Yeah.
you're a professor. You're teaching business English. You're training teachers. You are in Sfax, and you're also in ESEAC. Now, ESEAC is a private university in Tunisia. What is ESEAC about? What kind of courses can people access in ESEAC? Let's start from there.
All right. Now, I know that it started in 2003. At that
Okay.
time, I was not part of I mean, the teachers who were working there. But then I was invited by one of the administrators there to be working with them, and I started teaching there in 2010. 2010, 2011. So it has been now about 10 years I'm teaching there. Now, the first thing that has really impressed me is that it is a family like relationship.
Oh,
I mean, teachers respect one another, help one another. This is number one. Number two, that the students themselves, be they from Tunisia or from Africa, I mean, are collaborative. This
okay.
is the second thing. The third thing is that the teachers love their students a lot. And when I say they love them, it means they do their best to help them, I mean, understand the courses and go beyond the courses. They even conduct training sessions together, I mean, which are not included in the timetable,
Yeah.
just because they love one another. So I would say that it is a family-like relationship. Uh, I am always calling my students coming from Cameroon and Congo and other countries. I am their Papa Africa, and they say hi, Papa Africa. I
Perfect.
say hi, hi. So they
Amazing.
like it, and we sometimes even dance the African dance. But this is not, of course, in the course, but rather when we see one another outside the classroom.
Yeah.
This brings really a very nice, friendly atmosphere that I have never seen in any other place. That's why I feel really very happy that I teach there every year. Okay,
Oh, that's brilliant.
yeah, that's
Now,
true.
ESEC is an accredited university. You mentioned that you have students from the likes of Cameroon, from Congo. Have you had students from the likes of, like Western Africa, like Nigeria, Sierra Leone, English speakers, naturally English?
Uh, Up to now, I have really met someone from South Africa. Okay, a
Okay.
student from South Africa, but his mother is from Congo. so he can speak both French and
Okay.
English well. I have seen some people from Angola, from Senegal,
Oh,
uh, concerning English speaking countries like Nigeria. Okay. Uh, I haven't really met one. Probably there are some of them, but I haven't really met one personally.
okay.
Uh, but what I can say is that the number of Africans coming from different countries is increasing, and I can see now that they are studying uh, masters there. Most of them are studying masters degree, and some of them are still studying first year university level, but they are happy with it. I mean, uh, the African students, because the ESEAC provides them with accommodation, cheap accommodation. I mean, because
Okay.
it has got it has got something like I won't say a hotel because it is not a hotel, but they have rented a big building, all right,
Okay.
and there is the administration in the second floor, and then at the top there are just rooms with nice accommodation. It means there is a bath, there is a shower, and compared to other places, they are really very cheap. I won't say quite cheap; they are very cheap. Just it costs for a single student about uh, $20 per month. Okay, this is
$20 per
really,
month.
this is really, I mean, nothing compared to other places. If the students are unwilling to live there, all right, because they look for privacy and for freedom, rent in Sfax is one of the cheapest. I mean, if for example two students rent an apartment, it would not be more than let's say $70. Okay, $70 for each, not for both, for
Yeah.
each.
Right.
So $70 for each, maybe 65, 60 around this. All right. Uh, now, when I just talk to some of my students, mainly those who are coming from Africa, from Cameroon and from Niger and from Congo, they are happy with accommodation because they say that compared to Tunis, the capital,
Yeah.
it's really far cheaper as they have got friends there. I mean, in Tunis, probably they are asking them about rent, etc. All right. Uh, Also, I mean, vegetables and the fruit are really cheaper than other places. The reason is the following: that Sidi Bouzid is closer to Sfax. And Sidi Bouzid is famous for producing fruit and vegetables. Okay,
Okay.
so for a farmer, I mean, taking fruit and vegetables to Sfax will be, I mean, cheaper for him than taking it to the capital or to Sousse. And so they sell their just fruit and vegetables for cheaper prices, and this is for the benefit of everybody. If the student is a little bit reluctant whether the greengrocers, I mean, are trustworthy or not, the same product is sold in supermarkets and in very big outlets, and they have got just the price tag on it. Okay, so
Yeah.
the students can compare. I mean, I can go to shop A today, then to shop B tomorrow or the same day, and I compare prices. But usually, I say usually, if not always, uh, the people there are trustworthy. I mean, they never make a difference. I mean, you find almost the same prices everywhere, and they are cheaper than other places for sure.
But most people know about Sidi Bouzid outside of Tunisia, that is, because of the Arab Spring, not because of the farms. That's what most people know Sidi Bouzid for, because
Yes, yes, yes.
history happened in Sidi Bouzid. It changed the outlook of the entire Middle East and North African region. It had a global effect. So Tunisia is a very special country, and then Sidi Bouzid, of course, is also equally special because of the Arab Spring. But now that you're telling us about the agricultural aspects, that means that for students who want to go to ESEAC, for instance, the cost of living is below $200 per month.
No,
Am I
two
correct?
$200. No, 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 no. Max. I'll say max. Huh? Max $140 would be far enough. Far
Wow.
enough.
And
Wallah.
that's accommodation and that's food.
Yeah. I swear, huh? It's very cheap. I mean, let explain you the thing in an easier way. Uh,
Okay.
40% of people who work in Sfax, I mean workers,
Yes.
earn about, let's say, maximum $200 max, with the three children, with a wife who is a housewife. Okay,
Okay.
sometimes they rent a house and they are happy. I mean, they can manage. So what about one? I mean, a student who, unless the person, I mean, would like to spend on nothing. Now, this is really something purely private. But
Yes.
when even if a person, I mean, used to be spending a lot, when he is in Sfax, he would really learn a new ways, because people there are, I won't say mean, but they can budget well. They can budget well. Okay, they can really know how to save, how to spend. So we learn from others, of course. When we come, we learn from others. So $140 per month would be far more than enough. All right.
Now this is becoming really exciting to me, and I'll tell you why. For a lot of students who want to go to school abroad, one of the things that have to be taken into strong consideration is the cost of living in the countries that they are going to go and school. Now, hearing that for $140, you could actually live in Sfax and then, eat, pay your accommodation, and then go to school. That means it's easier for you to concentrate on your studies because you are not under any pressure. Your parents are not under any pressure, assuming they are the ones that are paying your tuition. So I'm talking about the ones that are coming for their first degrees, etc. That is brilliant. Now we have heard that living or the cost of living in Tunisia was affordable, but we have not heard that it was this affordable. This is unbelievable. So I'm
Yes.
really, really excited about this right now, and I think we are going to be talking about that a little bit more. Now, when it comes to jobs, there might be a question or two that people might want to ask about coming to school in Sfax. So in a lot of countries, when students go abroad to school, they try to augment what their parents give them in terms of pocket monies and things like that by getting a part-time job. Are there such opportunities available in Sfax?
Okay. The equation is easy. If you'd like to work, there are enough opportunities for everybody. Do you understand?
Oh,
If any person, be they students, immigrants, refugees, because we have all the categories of people, okay, coming there. If you are willing to work, certainly there is an opportunity for everybody. Another thing which is, I mean, interesting, the government or the law there, I mean, doesn't restrict the number of hours one can just, devote for a part-time job.
okay.
If you are willing to work, there is always an opportunity to find a job and to earn money. All right, this is for sure.
Okay.
Uh, for one simple reason is that, as I told you from the start, this is the first city in the country where people are known for working hard, and so the businessmen there have a lot of relationships with people or with other countries like Senegal or like Libya, like Algeria, uh, and they just also send their products or sell their products to other places in the country. That's why they need more and more people to work and to help them. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Now, about 700 700 workers. They are not immigrants. They are not students. 700 workers coming from Africa, from Mali, from Niger, from uh, Congo, from Cameroon, from Senegal, are working. Okay, in construction building.
Okay.
This sector is really, very promising. Oh,
Okay.
number two, in agriculture, in farming. Sfax is full of nice farms. It is considered the third in producing fruit and vegetables after Sidi Bouzid and after Siliana. And so many people find it easy to find the jobs there and to work in both construction, building, and farming. All right, and they
Okay.
can earn much. They can earn much if we know that they are going to save, because you can earn much, but you just spend a little because everything is cheap. So easily they can save. They can save, and why not? If someone, can budget well, all right,
Yes.
doesn't really, look for luxury 100%. He can even, I mean, be able to depend on or to afford uh, enough money so that he continues his studies there without referring to his family, because the government, the Tunisian government, does not oblige you to have an amount of money in order to come and study in Tunisia. Okay, if you are willing to come, marhaba, welcome, as we say in Arabic. Uh, so there are not restrictions that I found, for example, in the Czech Republic or in England or
Yeah.
in the United Kingdom. No, 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 no. Never,
Hmm.
never.
That's pretty interesting because what that basically means is that you can get affordable tuition fees, you can get affordable cost of living, and then also you probably I'd be able to get a job and then save up a little money if you want to. But you also then have the opportunity to network with business owners in Sfax and surrounding areas, since there's a lot of exports taking place in Sfax, and then you probably might be able to start up your own business as well. That's amazing. That's fantastic. So we'll be looking at those opportunities further, and then we'll get on to talking about the exchange program that ESEAC has to offer, the level of education that ESEAC has to offer in terms of courses, so first degrees, masters, and then the exchange program in itself. We'll take that up very shortly. We'll take a quick commercial break. When we get back, we'll be talking to Professor Maher and asking him about what other opportunities there are. We'll be back very shortly. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello
Hi,
once again.
hi,
Hi, Professor. So
hi,
if you
Mr. Habib. Hi.
yeah, if you're just joining us, you're welcome to another edition of Just Banter. And tonight we are discussing the study in Tunisia experience with Professor Maher Siala, who is a professor in ESEAC Private University. It's a business school in Sfax, a port city in Tunisia. And he's been telling us some very, very interesting things. I'm amazed, I'm excited to hear the type of opportunities that exist in terms of the plan B that a lot of people are looking at in terms of education, whether it's a case of doing your first degree or doing your master's. And Professor Maha
Yes,
told us a few things. So, Professor, before the break, we were talking about the opportunities that exist in terms of youth schooling in ESAC. Now, you have first degrees, you have master's degree. What is the focus of the university in terms of those master's degrees and first degrees?
okay, there is one thing that impressed me and that I have never, seen in any other university up to now
Okay.
is that the university has got partnership with many companies. Uh,
Okay.
Many of them are in Sfax, and others are in France or in, I think, Germany. All right.
Okay.
And what's good about these things is that the students are in safe hands. They are secure, and I have seen many of them. From Africa and from Tunisia, who, when they conducted internship in these companies, they were able to get employed, to get recruited. Do you
Oh,
see? This is something I have seen and I have practiced and I have really experienced. All right. Uh, which is not the case for many other universities in Sfax, if not all. Yes, they provide you with nice training, all right? After that, you are left to your destiny. You have to find a job.
yeah.
So with ESEAC, it's different. And this is what has really impressed me. Impressed me, yes, it has impressed me. There are people who are really very intelligent. The people who are in the administration. I don't know because I have not that very big contact with them as a teacher, but I can see that they are intelligent and that they are just helping the students to get employed and to have partnership or to have internship with very famous companies. Okay, this is one. I really insist on this fact because the question is not that work hard as a student. Yes, I work hard, I do my best, but I want someone who can really protect me, uh, pave the way to me in order to find a job or just the first path towards knowing where the destination is. So be sure, and this is something I have witnessed, that all the students, without exception, are provided internship, and many of them, are lucky enough to get recruited. All right.
Yeah.
Uh, but mainly, if we know, for example, I have seen some students who are making a lot of sacrifices. When you are teaching them, you see that they have got a project in mind, a goal in mind. And so you can only respect them and help them as much as you can. All right.
Yeah.
Concerning the studies there, there is a first cycle, which is first year we call licence in French.
My friends.
Uh, this now they have got five branches: marketing, ICT, finance, law, droit in French,
Okay.
uh, and so and accounting, comptabilité in French. All right. In the second year, I mean, they go further. They go further, and they get more involved in training rather than in theory. So
Oh,
it
okay.
will be much training, many conferences, many visits on site. They even go to companies, I mean, as a group, and see how it is done. So there is a lot of practice inside the theory, a lot of
Oh,
practice. I can see sometimes I say sometimes they just apologize to the teachers to say, okay, you cannot teach. Next Thursday, as an example, we can postpone the session another time, or just for next Monday or Tuesday, because there is a businessman who has agreed to invite the group to see how things are going. All right, and this is something I appreciate so much. And so the all the staff, I mean the administrative staff, are with them, plus probably the teachers who teach this or that particular, subject. All right. Uh, Now, in the third year, the the students focus more on what we call PFE. It means they are going to conduct a research. They
okay.
will be supervised by their teachers and another teacher from another, university, so that the university, guarantees that the work is fair enough, is consistent enough. Do you understand? And that the student does his best to get a good mark, not because he knows this or that teacher, but because he proves to be competent. And this is something I also admire, because fairness is needed, and fairness is hard to achieve. So when you have a teacher who is teaching there, and a teacher who is really supervising you, but he doesn't know you before, uh, this makes all students on equal foot. Concerning the master's degree, uh, I can see that there is marketing, there is finance, there is ICT. Uh, Concerning the master's degree, I can see that about half of them are Africans. Half of the group, or the 3 or 4 groups, are Africans, and it needs a lot of hard work on the part of the students. So the university is open all days, even on Sunday. I mean, the learners can go there and can refer to some of the resources and references. All right.
Yeah.
The teachers are also available, either through online training if the learners need them, concern researchers, or just on site, at university. And I can see that the learners or the students are very happy with the service. This is what I have really noticed.
That's brilliant. So we've heard about the licence, which is the first degree, and then
Yeah,
we've heard about the master's. So a lot of people don't know what the educational system is like. So they don't know that the first degree is 3 years, for instance, in
yeah,
Tunisia, as
it
opposed
is.
to like Nigeria, for instance, where it is 4 years. The
Yeah,
master's degree is 2 years. Am I correct?
yes, yes, you are. Yes, you are.
Is that a Tunisian thing or is based on the French system of education?
Yes, it is. It is based on the French system of education, and it is applied both in private and public, higher
institutions.
higher education. Okay, there is no difference. Now, all the rules that are applied in the public sector are automatically applied in the private one in matters of testing, in matters of subjects, number of tests, uh, holidays. So it is the same ministry, the Ministry of Higher Education, that really controls both the private and the public universities.
Oh, okay. So interesting. Like I said, affordable education. I keep going back to that because of the cost of education globally nowadays. A lot of countries have even realized that it is a major source of revenue generation for them. So they are granting quite a few universities a lot of powers, like Australia, for instance, where probably the universities can even grant you a visa directly for you to come and study in Australia. So the cost of the tuition has become really, really important.
For sure.
Value is what most people will say after they speak of the cost of tuition. Now, ESEAC, even on your website, it states that you have exchange programs with a few other universities, some partner universities abroad. A lot of people don't understand what an exchange program is in the first place. That's the student exchange program. And secondly, they don't know what the benefits are of our student exchange program. Can you tell us a little bit about the exchange program?
All right. Now, I think that ESEAC has really, as I told you, built great relations with universities in France, universities in Belgium, universities in Germany. So they have got a lot of, sound relationships with some of the universities there. Also, ESEAC has got a headquarter in France. I mean,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
and so many of the students who finish their third year here in at ESEAC go and study there, continue their studies there. First of all, the visa will be given, easily, because they trust those who are studying at ESEAC,
ESEAC.
as there is another headquarter in France. This is one. Number two, they are usually, I mean. Welcome to work in France. And I know that many of the students were able to work in France. I don't know if it is the case, because I know that students from Nigeria speak English, but I have heard lately that they are doing a great job with some of the partners and the universities in England. I am happy to hear about it. Okay, although I don't have any, any other news apart from this. And if I have more news in the coming days, I will email you. All right, I will email you, or
Okay.
email
Yeah.
Salsabil.
Okay, thank you. We have actually spoken to the management of ESAC about it before. They've told us a few things as well, which we will be telling the viewers as we go along. In terms of the exchange programs, a lot of people should know that when you do an exchange program, especially when you're going through a Tunisian university, one of these partner universities in Tunisia, you're going to be saving yourself a lot of money. The average cost of tuition, what's the average cost of tuition in ESAC, for instance, Professor Maher?
All right. Uh, as I know, concerning the students there, probably, I'll say probably, I'm talking about Tunisian students,
Yeah.
because I don't have a clear idea about how much the students coming from Africa are supposed to pay. All right.
Yeah.
I know that some of them are really sponsored by their governments first. Some of the
Oh, okay.
students some of the students who come from Niger or from Congo are sponsored probably by their governments. But what I can see is that now concerning the Tunisian students, they just pay around $1,000 per year. Okay, $1,000 per year. Now this is probably the cost of the university year there. All
Yeah.
right, but at the same time, I can see that there are some African students who come in groups. I mean, you find there a brother and two sisters, for example. So I cannot imagine that if the cost were that expensive, that they would be able to come in threes or in twos or in fours. All right.
Yeah.
However, I won't really be shy enough to ask them how much the cost is. I would ask the students and not the administration, because it's a little bit embarrassing to talk to the administration about that.
Yeah.
But as a matter of fact, I will be asking the students, because some of them are my students and my friends on Facebook. All right, I will ask them and inform you. But what I am sure of is that the cost for them is not that expensive, knowing that they come sometimes in twos and in threes. So I cannot see a father being able to spend on three students or three children abroad if the expenses were that exorbitant. That
Oh yes. We
expensive.
definitely know that it is not, because sending one child to school in the UK costs, like I said earlier on in the show, £14,000. But going to ESEAC costs about €3,200 per session for your first degree, meaning that you could actually send four students to ESEAC for less than the price of one going to the UK. I mean, it doesn't get better than that. And you're still getting top-notch education because of their affiliation with their headquarter university, which is in France. And then also you have partner universities that students can go for exchange programs. So that just makes it a win-win. That coupled with the cost of living in Sfax, which I'm still finding very, very amazing, Professor Maher, which is that I can live in Sfax for $140 a month. I think I'll move there. I think you need to look for a house for me in Sfax.
Okay. One just piece of information is
Yeah.
that there is an island that belongs to Sfax, which is about 18 kilometers, okay, 12 miles far from Sfax. It
Yeah.
is Qarqna. We call it Qarqna. Qarqna.
Okay.
Beh,
Yes.
in
Uh-huh.
Qarqna, notice this, 760 old people, families really, of old people coming from England who finished, I mean, who are retired,
Yeah.
settle there forever. I mean,
Oh,
they have, oh, yes, yes, yes,
retirement.
yes.
That's where they retired to.
Yes, because they say that the cost of living is far cheaper than that in England. Okay.
Oh, yes.
Do you see? So we are lucky. We are lucky that we can save. If you live in Sfax, you are able to save, because it's not a matter of how much you earn. It's a matter of how much you can save. You can earn 3,000, but you are unable to save £1. All right,
Yeah.
and you can earn 700. Dinars, Tunisian dinars, but you can save 200, and this is positive in any case. Positive. It is positive. So concerning the cost of the university fees, etc. If someone is able to find a job there, he can pay his fees. I mean, easily,
Yeah.
because because if someone is able to spare, let's say, 15 hours or 20 hours per week, in order to have an extra job or extra work, he can easily, I mean, pay all the fees. As I told you, it depends also on the student himself. I mean, whether he is able to budget well or not.
Yeah.
I know, by the way, three African students coming from Congo. Now it is their oldest sister Bituta, and I like the family name. Okay, uh, who is responsible for everything. I mean, she is responsible for paying the rent. For She knows the shops, which shop she goes to. Uh, Now, what time? I mean, is it in the morning better or is it in the afternoon? She knows
Mhm.
everything.
Everything.
Of course, she could save. And so all the other Africans coming from other places refer to Bituta. Bituta, please, we'd like to buy some blah, 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 or da, da, da. So Bituta will be really willingly happy to guide them, to just help them to the right shop. All right. So at the same
The-
time, someone should be really active enough in order to know how to profit. All right.
Yes, of course, yes. So
And
with
I'll
this
be
as
there if they come.
as
Of
a
course,
business,
I'll be there. Okay, they can see my gray hair. I'll be there to help them as much as I can.
we're
Huh?
sure we're sure of that. You've told us
Yeah, yeah.
that ESAC is a family-oriented organization, higher institution. You told us how warm, welcoming the faculty is and how they relate to the students, especially for yourself, that you can have a relationship with your students and they call you Papa Africa. So that shows that you're a very warm person, you're very welcoming, and you also see beyond the borders of Tunisia. That makes it the more interesting. So if anybody's thinking of that plan D and you're thinking of getting further education, or you have children that want to get higher education in a foreign country, you can always start from Tunisia. We'll be talking quite a bit more about that at some point. But tonight we've had quite quite an interesting conversation with Professor Maher. He's been kind enough,
Thank you.
gracious enough to take out his time to join us, and we cannot hold him down any longer. We're going to have to release him at some point because he's a very, very busy man. Professor Maher, would like to say thank you very, very much for taking out the time to join us. And we will be getting in touch with you again. Like I said, you need to find me a place in Sfax because if I can live in Sfax for that cheap, what am I doing in Europe? I'd like to move there as well, So I'll be in touch with you.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Uh, a big hug to all people in Nigeria. I do respect Nigeria. When we were younger, we were fond of football. We were fanatics, and Nigeria at that time could really represent all Africa. All right. Remember the Olympic Games, and we were dancing and shouting out of happiness when the young children who were 17 could really have the gold medal.
Yeah.
They must be now old people.
Oh,
This
yes, they
happened.
are.
This happened in 1998, I think, or something like this.
Yeah.
But still,
1958.
when I mean remember Nigeria, I keep in mind those footballers who are really great people in the stadium, who are very calm while they are playing, who
Yeah.
use a lot of techniques. So this is the picture I have of the Nigerian people, that they represent Africa as the best goodwill ambassadors. God save you.
God save Nigeria. Thank you very, very much, Professor Maher. Thank you
Yeah.
for taking that time to join us.
Yes.
Good night.
Thank you. See you. Bye bye.
Good. Have a great night.
Bye bye. Bye bye.
So, we've just had an interesting conversation with Professor Maher from ESEAC Business School in Sfax. And like he said, God bless Nigeria. So that goes a long way in telling you how Nigerians are viewed in Tunisia. They are viewed with a lot of respect. They are viewed with a lot of love. So that tells you that things are not always what they seem. Nigerians are a great people. They excel in every sphere of life. Professor Maher was talking about football. Now, for a lot of people, they don't realize that Africa is Africa. So if Tunisia could actually be jubilated over the fact that the likes of Nkanu Wankwo and co won the Olympic gold in football, that shows you that Africa is one. And it's time for Africans to start looking at the opportunities that are bound all over Africa. Try to spend a bit of money in Africa so that Africa can develop to a point where it can be comparable to living anywhere else in the world, especially when you look at the Western countries. Hopefully, we'll get to that point at some point. Now, we will be talking, like I said, but that is not going to be on this show. We'll be talking a bit more about this study in Tunisia experience. We are promoting it as much as possible because it is one of our marketing products, and we will be talking about it continuously. We'll try to sell it as much as possible to people, not in the sense of we getting value out of it, but in terms of you getting as much value out of it. Because a lot of people don't realize that it's a lot of pressure for you to say you want to go on school in the UK, in the US, and all of that. What you could afford 2-3 years ago, you can no longer afford it because of the volatility of the Nigerian naira. In terms of having to pay tuition fees, it's a lot of pressure. In terms of cost of living in those countries, it's a lot of pressure. So you have to look at what your plan B is. You have to look at what opportunities are out there. Now, this does not mean that you still cannot achieve your ultimate goal, if that is what it is, of going to go and school in either Europe, Canada, or the US. What it basically means is that you could actually use stepping stones to get to that eventual goal that you want to get to. So take, for instance, if you have to pay £40,000 in the UK, let's even say it is euros. Let's equate it, using the same currency so that there'll be much more clarity. So if you're going to be spending 14,000 euros for 1 year tuition in the United Kingdom, and you're going to be spending an average of 3,200 euros in Sfax, for instance, what that basically means is that if you're spending 2 years in Sfax for your first degree, part of your first degree, and then you're going to go and do the other 2 years in the UK. So you've already saved about 40% of your overall tuition fees, because you can do your 2 years in Sfax at ESEAC and then go to their partner university in Europe and go and complete your first degree. That's a massive, massive saving. Now, a lot of people also find it very difficult to get visas, especially when it comes to student visas. People think that you pay for a university or you pay a deposit and then you're automatically granted a study visa. That's not true. Quite a lot of people have complained about the fact that they do pay agents, then they now pay deposits to those universities and they still do not get their study visas. And in a lot of cases, some of that money is non-refundable. So you've lost. So why not take the option of going to a private university in Tunisia, getting quality education at an affordable rate, good quality of life at an affordable rate, and then when it's time for you to move to the next step, which is going to Europe or going to the US or going to Canada, the university processes your visa. So you're assured of what it is that you're getting. You're assured that you're doing things in incremental steps and you eventually get your goal. Now, there's a benefit that a lot of people probably do not know about that I think I must mention. I should have asked Professor Maher on screen, but He's not in the he's not in the administration. He's actually in the academia. But you get the benefit of two certifications. So you get the benefit of the certification from the initial university, which is one that you go to in Tunisia, and then you also get from the partner university that you go to, whether it's in America or in Canada or in the UK or in France or Germany, any one of their partner institutions. It doesn't get better than that. Trust me. And then in terms of what do you do after you get the degree? Most people think that you get a degree and then you automatically get a job. You don't automatically get a job in most parts of the world. In most parts of the world, as a matter of fact, once you're done with your degree, it's a case of you either get a job or you leave the country. So that puts a lot of pressure on you as well. One of the benefits of studying in Tunisia is you get to learn two international languages in addition to you being able to speak English initially. So that means you can now speak 3 international languages. That opens you up to exponential job opportunities. Why? Because you speak 3 international languages. So that means that international organizations will come after you. Private businesses that have businesses across borders will come after you because you're well-rounded. You can speak 3 languages. And for the fact that you've been able to go through an exchange program also means that you have the ability to adapt pretty quickly. So if I were you, I'll go to the Study in Tunisia website, fill out the form there. Don't forget it's a plan B. But we'll be giving you some support. So what you could do is, when you get to the agents section, you can just write color media and put 10. So write color media 10. That's the coupon code. And what that means is that we're going to be processing a 10% off administrative fees for you once you decide that you want to take that option. But in the event that you're still not ready, you still need to ask a few more questions. There are several people that you could speak to on our team. We have people in Ghana. We have people in Lagos, Nigeria. We have in Tunisia as well. And look, I'm always available. All you have to do is just send me a text message. My numbers are public. My social media is public. I don't block anything. I don't have any private, pages or whatever. Just send me a message and I'm always going to respond to you ASAP. But you could also reach out to any one of the other, members of the team that are on this Study in Tunisia program. What we aim to do is to try as much as possible to let people have the opportunity of getting a foreign education, not because it's a bad thing for you to study in your country, but because it makes you a more rounded individual. I'd like to say a very big thank you to all of you for joining us tonight, taking out your time. But before we go, like we always do, we always talk about our social messages. We never forget. Definitely, we don't forget. So we're going to always start, of course, from the issue of rape. Like we say, this is something that needs to be wiped out of existence. It is destroying people. It is destroying families. It is destroying society. We need to continuously fight against the issue of rape. So please, if you can, when you can, it doesn't cost you anything. You already use the social media already. Just use the hashtags that are on the screen. Hashtag no excuse. Hashtag no to rape. Even the likes of them, Alibaba and co, have actually come out and they've tweeted, they made a video, they sent out messages against the issue of rape. Anybody could be a victim. You don't want to be a victim. You don't want your children to be a victim. You don't want any members of your family to be victims. So please always say no to rape. Call it out when you can. Tweet it when you can. Post about it when you can. Say no to rape. On Friday, I took my COVID-19 vaccine, the first jab. I'm not going to tell you which one. So I'm not going to be promoting any particular jab or any particular vaccine, but I did take one on my left arm. It was nice. It was okay. Immediately afterwards, I actually went, to go and play golf again. Thinking, what most people said, you're not going to be able to lift your left arm, blah, 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 blah. Well, in some cases it's true. In some cases it is not true. These things affect people in different ways. So whatever you do, try and keep yourself safe. try and keep other people safe. If you can get the vaccination, please do so. It doesn't mean you're still not going to be using your face masks. It doesn't mean you're still not going to be keeping a social distance of 1 meter. And it also does not mean that you should not wash your hands as often as possible. COVID-19 is still very real. It is still being managed. There's still no clear-cut way to deal with the virus. But the quicker we all adapt, the quicker we all realize that we need to help each other so that this virus can hopefully go away and then we can go back to being near normal so that travel can resume. I have missed traveling simply because of COVID-19 and all the restrictions of having to do COVID tests and all of that sticky stuff in my nose and all that. So as soon as that is over, life goes back to normal. I think people will be a bit happier. We should not have the restrictions of COVID-19 with all that's going on in the world. So you stay safe, stay blessed, and we'll see you again next week, Sunday, same time, when we bring on the next guest, who incidentally is somebody that most of you would love to hear talk. So we'll see you same time on Sunday next week. You have a great night. Stay safe. Don't fight with Twitter. All right. Good night.